In a quiet small town, a woman bought a Labubu doll purely as a quirky little decorative piece she thought would add character to her shelf. But within days, something changed. Each night at exactly 3:14 a.m., she would wake up suddenly, drenched in an uneasy stillness, feeling as if unseen eyes were watching her from the shadows. It wasn't just a passing feeling. It was a deep, unsettling presence that clung to her as she lay in bed. The doll, with its mischievous grin and oddly lifelike eyes, was securely placed on a high shelf, out of reach and sight. Yet each morning, no matter how carefully she left it, Labubu had somehow moved, shifted slightly, changed its position or the tilt of its head. It was subtle but undeniable, like the doll had a life of its own. This strange phenomenon only fueled her growing dread. Her nights became restless and filled with disrupted dreams, dark, fragmented visions where the doll's grin seemed to elongate and its eyes glowed in a way that no toy should. The feeling that Labubu was alive settled into her mind. Friends and neighbors in the community picked up on her story, sharing their own speculations. Some believed an unseen force in her house was moving the doll. Others wondered if Labubu itself was a kind of conduit to something beyond the normal world. A poignant memory surfaced from one follower's comment. A child once saw the doll's grin stretch unnaturally wide, and its eyes shift shapes. Terrified, the child's mother had burned the doll, hoping to end whatever dark game it was playing. The image stuck with the woman, deepening her fear. Yet even with all the fear and late-night terror, she found herself unable to throw Labubu away. The doll seemed to hold her in an emotional tether, a bond wrapped in fear and fascination. She confessed often, "It's watching me," a haunting truth that echoed the stories of haunted objects from folklore, their eerie mix of fear, attachment, and mystery. Her story quickly became a cautionary tale online, a vivid example of how something as seemingly innocent as a collectible can slowly grow into a source of deep unease, shifting from mere decoration to something charged with emotional and maybe supernatural weight. It's a reminder that sometimes what we bring into our homes might watch back in ways we never expect. Indian actress Archana Gautam once shared a chilling story about a close friend that felt like something out of a horror film, except it was real life. This woman had a bright future ahead. Her wedding was fully planned, everything arranged perfectly, and a joyful day awaited. But everything took a dark turn just days after she brought a Labubu doll into her home. The doll, an eerie collectible with its mischievous grin and strange, almost lifelike eyes, was meant to be a unique addition to her growing collection of quirky items. But the moment the doll arrived, a series of unsettling events began to unfold, almost like a shadow creeping across her life. First, just days after the Labubu doll was introduced into her space, her fiancé suddenly called off the wedding. There was no warning, no clear reason. The joyous future they had imagined together vanished overnight. The cancellation was shocking enough, but the very next day, tragedy struck again. Her father passed away unexpectedly. The timing was too close, too strange to ignore. The sequence of events, bringing the doll home, the wedding cancellation, and then her father's death, immediately sparked rumors and speculation among friends and online communities. People whispered about a curse, a dark energy seemingly tied to the doll's presence. Could this innocent-looking figure really be a vessel for something sinister? The idea spread fast, turning the Labubu doll into a symbol of misfortune and fear. Skeptics pointed to psychological effects like suggestion and confirmation bias, the way our minds connect dots and create stories from random events, especially when grief and shock cloud judgment. But whether caused by superstition or coincidence, the emotional weight of the story was undeniable. Forums and social media filled with warnings about the Labubu doll, some saying it didn't just carry bad luck, it might actively attract dark forces. While science offers no proof of curses or haunted objects, stories like this keep the mystery alive. And for many, The tale of the woman whose life unraveled shortly after welcoming a Labubu doll is a stark reminder to be cautious about the things we invite into our homes, especially when they come with a mischievous grin and eyes that never quite blink. I never believed in cursed objects until Labubu came into my life. It all began as a simple impulse buy from an online marketplace. The doll's charm was subtle but unsettling, a mischievous grin etched on its small plastic face, its eyes glinting with something almost alive. I placed Labubu on my bookshelf, surrounded by my collection of horror memorabilia, thinking it would be just another quirky addition. That first night, sleep didn't come easy. Around 3:30 a.m., I was suddenly woken by the unmistakable sound of soft footsteps. Living alone, the noise felt intrusive, like a soft echo in the dark. My heart raced as I searched every corner of the apartment. Nothing, no one was there. Morning brought what I assumed was an innocent explanation. Labubu lay face down on the floor. I figured it had simply fallen, but the pattern repeated. The next night, the footsteps returned, faint and deliberate. Morning again, Labubu had moved, never randomly, always somewhere obvious, like a silent message. Determined to break the cycle, on the third night I locked the doll inside a box, weighed down by a heavy book. That night, I dreamed of a shadowy figure standing at the foot of my bed. Its face blurred, but its gaze was fierce. I could feel it watching me, waiting. I woke drenched in sweat. The book lay on the floor, the box wide open, and Labubu was perched on the table across the room, sitting upright, almost smug. I tried to convince myself it was sleepwalking, or a draft, a trick of my imagination. But then my dog started acting strange. He refused to enter the room where the doll was kept. He growled low and deep at the doorway, hackles raised like he sensed something I couldn't see. I'd never seen him so unsettled. Things escalated quickly. Shadows flickered in my peripheral vision. Electronics glitched unpredictably. Lights dimmed on their own. I felt watched constantly, like Labubu's eyes were following me, never blinking. Twice, I threw the doll away, only to find it back inside the apartment, positioned in plain sight as if it were mocking me. Driven by fear and curiosity, I started researching cursed dolls. An article noted how some toys are crafted with symbolic features meant to be vessels for restless spirits. I flashed back to that first night, how jokingly I'd said, "Come haunt me if you're real," while unboxing Labubu. Had I unknowingly invited something in? Desperate, I reached out to a spiritual healer. She came to my apartment, immediately noticing the oppressive energy. "Did you invite something into this space?" she asked, eyes darkening as she saw the doll. She wouldn't touch it. Instead, she performed a cleansing ritual, burning sage, chanting in a language I didn't recognize while moving carefully around Labubu. That night, silence. For the first time in weeks, I slept deeply. The next morning, Labubu was gone, vanished without a trace. I still don't know where it went, and I don't want to find out. Since then, every horror item I own stays locked in glass cases behind doors. I never joke about spirits anymore. To many, Labubu was just a designer toy, but for me it was a door to something dark and restless, something that watched, moved, and never blinked. In a quiet rural village, a woman bought a Labubu doll as a light-hearted gift, hoping it would bring a bit of charm and whimsy into her home. At first, it seemed harmless, just another quirky item with that familiar mischievous grin and oddly lively eyes. But almost immediately after bringing the doll inside, strange and unsettling events began to unfold, stirring unease in both her and the community around her. Her dog, usually calm and friendly, suddenly started chasing wild animals in a panic, darting through the yard and barking wildly as if sensing something unseen. Then one afternoon, a nearby horse unexpectedly attacked one of her pets, an act so out of character it alarmed everyone who heard about it. The oddity didn't stop there. A wasp nest mysteriously formed inside the house, hidden in an unlikely corner, and when she tried to investigate, she got stung right through her clothing. A sharp, painful reminder that something was wrong. The house itself seemed unsettled too. One day, she returned home to find the TV, a device that had never once shown signs of malfunction, completely unplugged, sitting lifeless and silent. No explanation, no accidental trip to the plug. It was as if it had been deliberately turned off by some invisible hand. As these unusual incidents piled up, fear crept in. She and a close friend, both overwhelmed, openly admitted they were freaking out. When the story spread through the local community, some wryly joked that Labubu came with boss-level cursed energy, capturing the growing feeling that the doll was at the heart of the chaos. She seriously considered drastic measures, burning the doll or burying it deep in the earth, in hopes of stopping the disruption. The story soon became a classic haunted object tale, nature reacting oddly, domestic peace upended, and electronics behaving mysteriously. While some dismissed it as coincidence or the natural exaggeration of rural folklore, the persistence and variety of the strange events made it hard to simply shrug off. At its core, this story is a reminder of how an ordinary purchase can spiral into something much larger than expected. A communal ghost story fueled by tangible misfortune under one roof. The Labubu doll, with its small size but overwhelming presence, became more than a toy. It turned into a symbol of unease and mystery, watching silently as life around it unraveled in strange and unsettling ways. A deleted TikTok video sparked an unexpected wave of panic across social media. Influencers rapidly spread the comparison between Labubu's sharp-toothed grin, large glassy eyes, and pointed ears to Pazuzu, the infamous demon from the horror classic The Exorcist. This eerie resemblance struck a chord, fueling fear that this seemingly innocent toy might harbor something sinister. Suddenly, posts urging people to burn your Labubus for spiritual protection flooded TikTok, Instagram, and other platforms. Videos showed Labubu dolls tossed into backyard bonfires, the flames flickering with an unusual blue hue. The captions warned viewers in clear, urgent tones: "Do not invite demons into your home." This act of burning Labubus didn't just catch on, it went viral. Thousands mimicked the ritual, posting footage of charred doll remains alongside prayers, spiritual declarations, or simply breathless warnings. For some, this was a form of tradition or cleansing, a quick symbolic way to banish what many now believe to be a malevolent presence. For others, the videos became a kind of performance art, a shared spectacle of fear and defiance played out before millions. The spread was amplified by algorithms hungry for engagement, turning a few influencer videos into a full-blown cultural moment. Adding a layer of irony to it all, Pop Mart, the company behind Labubu, issued a satirical recall statement that danced on the edge of sincerity and joke. Fans dissected this unusual move, some reading it as a tacit admission of the doll's spooky reputation, others as clever marketing. Either way, it only fueled the hysteria further. This incident reveals how in the digital age, visual symbolism combined with viral social platforms can quickly create modern folklore. What started as a simple plastic toy morphed into a stage for an aesthetic ritual, an exorcism enacted with fire and hashtags. It's a striking example of how collective fear, animation of imagery, and online communities can transform everyday objects into haunted icons, blurring the lines between reality and myth for millions watching live. Pakistani actress Mishi stepped into the growing Labubu controversy with a clear and urgent warning. Calling the doll a curse, she spoke openly about its dark side, claiming that Labubu's eerie demonic face and sharp, jagged teeth aren't just for show. They invite evil spirits and jinn into homes. She urged her followers, especially women, to steer clear of using Labubu as a fashion accessory, emphasizing that this seemingly cute collectible carried a hidden threat. But Mishi wasn't alone in raising alarm. Across cities and shopping malls, strangers approached Labubu owners in hushed tones, warning, "Your doll is evil. It brings negative energy." These encounters fueled the growing fear, turning what started as personal stories of strange happenings into a public wave of anxiety and social denunciation. The doll's reputation shifted from playful curiosity to ominous symbol almost overnight. In Mumbai, India, a teenager named Rochelle shared her haunting experience with Labubu. After placing the doll on her study desk, she began waking up with nosebleeds, sudden drops in mood, and recurring nightmares that left her exhausted and frightened. Terrified, Rochelle decided to get rid of the doll, but before discarding it, she performed ritual prayers, hoping to cleanse herself from whatever dark energy had attached to her. Her private struggle soon caught the attention of online communities, turning into part of a growing chorus of warnings and tales about Labubu's harmful influence. These stories together highlight a fascinating transformation. Labubu started as a cute collectible toy, but quickly became a vessel for collective fears, both spiritual and social. What once seemed harmless took on a life of its own, shaped by personal fears, folklore, and public voices ranging from celebrities to strangers in everyday places. The doll, with its unsettling grin and piercing eyes, became not just an object, but a symbol of watchful, restless energy, something that unsettles homes, minds, and hearts alike.
If you liked the video, don't forget to like and share. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this.